Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys been enjoying the content channel as of late. Excuse me if my hair seems a little greasy or whatever. I just went for a jog. Uh, and I'm still working on a video that I hopefully will be out tomorrow. We'll see. Hopefully I'll record it after this. Yeah, we'll see. But for the meantime, I figured to talk about the trailer that came out today, and that is Resident Evil. We just got the first look at the new Resident Evil movie. I did not do a reaction to it because me and my brother watched it this morning. So I figured just to give my thoughts on it, and just to have some kind of discussion. Um, so I don't know anything about Resident Evil. Just to lay out the groundwork. I don't know anything about it. I just know it's something to do with like a viral infection of some sort. It's kind of in some ways like Evil Dead, at least to me. Like from the outside looking in, obviously they're probably extremely different. It's different stuff, but it kind of looks like it takes its cues from the Evil Dead series to some extent, which is also ironic because also I believe is it this year or next year, we're getting the next Evil Dead film, which also had a trailer come out, which was kind of cool. It had a kind of a one-shotter type deal, um, but we have a new Resident Evil movie on the way, and this one is being directed by Zach Kreger, who you guys may be familiar with films such as Barbarian, and most recently with Weapons, which came out last year and did as well as it did, and people were talking about it. It's one of those types of horrors that just kind of just took off on its own. Um, so now he's dipping his feet into a major franchise in the form of Resident Evil. Now, uh, it's interesting because I remember reading articles last year that Zach Cragen, this director, he was actually being pulled around from a bunch of studios to do various projects. At one point, I think he was slated to do like a DC project, um, which, from what I heard, it was an interesting idea. I don't know if maybe I'm misremembering it or something, but it was supposed to be like about a criminal and about their point of view, about a character like the Cape, like Batman and stuff like that, seeing it from the criminal's point of view. I thought that would have been pretty cool. Um, I think he was also just slated to do like a sci-fi project or something like that, which is like an original something. But I think that that's further out. But for now, he is doing Resident Evil, and that was something that he had already had in the books before Weapons came out. Um, but in talking about the trailer, in talking about just what was shown, um, I have a few questions. Obviously, I think it's meant to be taken at seriously. I don't think it's meant to be in some ways comedic, but it just, at least to me anyway, like just the choice of aesthetic, the choice of just how some of the visual framings, with the legs and arms coming out of the door, and then the body is just falling out of falling off the buildings and just splatting on the ground and stuff like that. I see where it's maybe seen as like, oh, it's grotesque, and oh, look how kind of disturbing it is. But I don't know why, but it just made me laugh. I don't know why. It didn't really hit me as much as like, didn't hit me in the way that creeped me out, more in the way of like, okay, you know. um, but I do appreciate that it is a isolated story, as far as I can tell. I mean, it'll have like kind of an expansive setting, as time goes on, I feel like. But I like that it is kind of central. It's not, like a group of kids. It's not like, a group of like 6 or 7. That will all get picked off like a slasher flick. I like that it seems to be centralizing itself on one particular person and their needs for something, looking for something. Um, but I assume this is in modern day, right? Is this before the apocalypse happens? Because I assume that there's some kind of apocalypse that takes place, right? In order for the viral infection to spread or whatever like that. I have no no recollection, no idea of what Resident Evil is, so someone would have to explain to me in the comments what that's all about. But I do appreciate that's isolated. I do like that. Here's some the things that I'm the more curious about is reception, how this is going to do once it comes out, because Resident Evil is not it's not a brand new franchise. This has been around for a minute. They've had like 7 movies, all been it's been like well over 10 years since the series has been around. So reintroducing, we just had a new one not too long ago. I think it's called Welcome to Raccoon City or something to that effect. So Resident Evil's been around. So, and this carries, as far as I've read, like an $80 million price tag, which is not including any marketing expenses on top of it. So let's just say around $100 million that this is potentially all together when it's all said and done. I don't know. I don't know. I think that there's some value to be found. I think that you have, a name like Zach Kreger, which I think, right now is hot off the press, with weapons and stuff like that, just hot right now on social media and stuff. So I think that will give the film some attention. Also, it's horror, so that I think plays a lot more in a theatrical experience than a lot of other genres nowadays. And it's a familiar and notable IP. So there's things that it has that I think will bring people to the theater, but will be able to make its money back. That remains to be seen. So, because you also have some unfamiliar faces here. So I don't know who this guy is. This actor, I don't know who he is. So we'll see. We'll see how it is. I mean, it's outside the summer season, so it's not going to be going up against any heavy hitters as far as I know. But for me, it just kind of came and went. I didn't really care for it too much. I kind of more or less laughed at some of the visual representations. But I was never going to seek it out anyway. I mean, horror is not my cup of tea. In the theatrical medium, going to the theater and stuff like that. I go to the theater to relax, not to be like heart pounding, type experiences. But we'll see how this does. But for me anyway, I just am not really that interested. So those are my little bite-sized thoughts on the Resident Evil trailer. I don't know. It's not really for me. You guys let me know. I mean, does it seem like it's being more faithful to the games than the other movies were? The Mila Kokovic, right? That's her name. Those movies, is it more faithful, or is her versions more faithful? Are you guys intrigued by the trailer? Let me know. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.